Welcome back to the Go&Do podcast.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. This is episode 13 with our boy, Benny. Well, I guess I should answer your full name. Yeah. Perry Benedict. Also known as Benny, as we met him in the MTC. He was in the MTC with all four of us, but went to a different mission than any of us, or all three of us.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Yeah.
What?
It's corny. You're just corny.
Okay. Anyway, this is episode 13. We're super excited to have our boy Benny with us, who served in Las Vegas. Which one was it?
So when I served there, it was the Las Vegas mission, but now it's the Henderson mission and the Las Vegas East mission.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. But when you were there, it was
just the Las Vegas.
Just Vegas?
Mission. Yeah.
Just the Las Vegas mission?
Yeah, there's was the West mission and the Vegas mission.
And now there's Henderson.
Now there's Henderson, West Vegas, and East Vegas.
Right.
So it's just a Las Vegas mission?
No, it was actually the Nevada Las Vegas mission.
Thank you.
My bad.
Yeah, and you were just English speaking, right?
I was English speaking, and then for a portion of my mission, I was Swahili speaking.
Oh, that's right. You did have that for a little bit. I remember some of those emails.
Yeah.
You actually read the email?
Yeah,
Bro, I read all of your guys'.
I didn't send them, so I know you
Connie
didn't
did not
read
send
mine.
emails.
Connie sent like one, and it was depressing, and then never sent one again.
I know exactly which one you're talking
We all
about.
wanted to be okay.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
the spray tan, bro.
Okay, that's crazy. The Boulder days were such.
Oh, shout out Elder Such again.
Oh, such. I love that, man.
So go ahead, Benny. Just kind of introduce yourself, who you are, and like the years you served and stuff.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm Perry Benedict. I served in the Nevada Las Vegas mission from November of 2021 to 2023.
There you go.
Since then, I'm just going to school now at BYU, studying mechanical engineering. Married my beautiful wife, Emmy, last May.
Shout out Emmy.
Shout out Emmy for real. Follow her Genoa therapy massage.
Love it.
Quick plug.
Quick plug. But yeah, that's all there is to it.
So what was your reaction when you opened your mission call?
I remember being super surprised. I remember my grandpa's wife, not my grandma, he remarried. Not that confusing. But anyway, she guessed Las Vegas, and I was like, what? I remember her putting her pin on Las Vegas, and I was like, crazy place to pick. And then obviously I opened it, and I was like, what? There's people that live there? Like, it's not just casinos? Like, what are we doing? Like, how in the world could they possibly send missionaries there? And then, like, in the call, they give you the map, right, of your mission boundaries. And it's a big mission. It has, like, some California in it, a bunch of Arizona. So I was like, well, that's probably where the majority of people serve. It's, like, in podunk desert towns. And so that was my, like... That's completely what I was looking forward to, was just those little towns. Not one time in my mission did I get to serve in those places. I was completely in Valley my entire mission.
Wow.
Right on. And what were your expectations before getting your mission call? Like, did you want to go anywhere? Or?
Yeah, Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of all the places. I remember I wasn't like so concerned with places I wanted to go, but I had a list of places where I told myself if I got called there, I wasn't going to go. And it was like Utah.
Would Pocatello, Idaho have been on that?
I probably. No, Idaho wasn't on the list, probably because I didn't know any better. No, it would have been great. And then like Midwest, I was like not going to serve in Iowa, like no way. But I remember making that list and thinking like God's going to for sure call me there. But he was merciful. He knew what he was doing.
Do you really think you wouldn't have gone?
No, I would have 100%.
Okay.
My mom would have been like, "Shut up, you're
Yeah.
going out."
Just go.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Wyoming.
You're from Wyoming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
right, Wyoming.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to
Yeah.
get that out of the way. But so in the MTC, we were all there together.
Mhm.
What was your perception of the MTC? Because we all have our own little,
Yeah.
you.
While I was in it, it was so awesome. Like while we were in the MTC, it was freaking so much fun. Yeah, I definitely
lot of
look
fun,
at you
man.
guys.
We did.
Seriously, I love you guys so much. And it was really good for me. I think the transition was really soft, and I think that was really good for me, probably for all of us, considering. So it was more fun than anything, which was great. Now, like looking back on it now, it really didn't prepare me as well as it should have.
I mean, we had a drive of some awesome music. You know
We
what I mean?
did, and I was
We
like,
did.
zero
I
part of
didn't
me thought
know.
that was wrong.
I had
was
no
like, dude, this is
clue.
the
Come
freaking
on.
coolest thing ever.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
With some
I
Kanye.
have a
Moments.
video of me listening to Kanye walking down the stairs.
I have
going
it.
to-
I
Yeah,
have it.
yeah.
Is that on the way to
Yeah.
laundry?
Dude, what's wrong
Right?
with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Little
Now,
did we know.
do you remember that one specific night where it was like the Go&Do Nephi experience, the 6-hour like thing, and the fast, and then
He's keeping the streak alive
I am
by bringing this up.
I feel like we've already covered that.
I
Remember that week?
thinking about it.
The week steak and potato.
Remember the break the fast meal in the
Dude, I don't
MTC at all?
remember that at all.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
It was
Okay,
so
all right,
fun.
sick. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, moving
I'll
on.
tell you what I do remember about that is some two missionaries asleep in the closet.
What? Who? Elder Roots? Who?
Timmy's?
Yeah, with me in case. me in
Yeah.
case
Nah,
fell
we were
asleep.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, well, I was looking because I was bored too. So it's not like I was any better. I was like, what are these fools?
That was
are?
brutal. Hey, I was hell on. I did mine. I did it the whole time though.
Yeah,
on
you
the
got
Go&Do because I was on a leash. My boy Elder Larson.
Other Larson. Oh my gosh.
You were too. Yeah, we that
That's
was a lot of fun in the
hilarious.
MTC, man. Looking back on it, I think we've said this before too, but like it was more of like just a testimony builder experience more than anything.
Yeah.
Because like I was around people that had similar lives to me in high school, which was nice for me because in high school I kind of viewed like the really active members as kind of like the they're a little weird.
No,
You know what I'm saying? And so when it was around you guys, it was like, oh, we all have like similar backgrounds. We all played sports. We all had like girlfriends.
And like
we
me
all
and
had,
Dre were senior homecoming kings.
yes, the senior homecoming kings. All that was so good for me, just to build like on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
were
I
you
totally
like
agree
pretty
with that.
active and like into it before the mission, or was it like
so
just a thing?
I definitely grew up in the church, and my parents were awesome. They raised me like super strong. It was very important to me and to my family that we were all active in the church. I did a year of school before my mission, and the wheels fell off for a little bit, but it was good. It was supposed to happen for me, and it led me to ask the important questions that I needed to, and led me to the important answers. And so that's what ended up getting me to serve a mission.
It's definitely more developed than we were. I mean, I remember. I know y'all remember the nights him and Scatty going back and forth, just doctoring, bro.
Some doctor.
No, I was
It's
just
crazy.
piggybacking,
Breaking
so
it
it
down.
looked like I was like, no, yeah, I know that.
I remember Scatty broke down
I
the
would've
first
said
Nephi.
that.
I know y'all remember the first Nephi
Scatty was
13?
cooking.
Dude,
I don't.
yeah.
What I remember is like when he was literally assigned from one of our MTC teachers to like lead the lesson, and it was like Alma 32 or 34.
Sister Gardner.
I don't remember. But,
Shout out Sister Gardner.
Shout out
But it
Sister
was one
Gardner.
of those, and literally Scatty led the whole lesson. I was like, dude, this makes so much sense. I've never understood the scriptures more than I do right
Yeah.
now. And that was because of Scatty. Shout out Scad, man.
Dude, just big shout out to
We got to get
Scott
Scad on here, man.
Scatty.
We got to get him on here, bro.
Yeah, and then we all left, and then I didn't see y'all for 2 years.
yeah. And you were like, were you one of the first or one of the last? I feel
Oh,
I
like.
don't
one of the
remember.
last, right? Because he was one of the last. It was like
I think you
and
guys did leave before me.
Yeah.
I know
Wednesday.
you and Dre, you guys were like 4 a.m.ers.
It was
Yeah.
brutal.
I was like a
Bro.
9 a.m.er. I don't remember.
I don't remember. I didn't have to wake up that early.
Okay, yeah.
What was that travel day like for you? Was it pretty easy?
It was, yeah. I remember it was being fine, and then I remember getting into Vegas. And if anybody's been to the Vegas airport,
How long of a flight is that?
I was maybe 2 hours. Like it was not even probably 2 hours from like getting to the airport to getting to Vegas. But yeah, that's where it really starts because it's just basically a casino, the airport, and then the ads for all the shows they have up, like they're not hiding anything, and it's just a group of us brand new missionaries.
It's a bunch of like Christian stuff,
trying
though,
to-
right? Like
No,
Christian,
no.
holy.
Bible studies.
yeah. It was just a lot of like, fully clothed women.
Yes. Advocating.
Modest.
The following
Yeah,
of Jesus
advocating
Christ.
great
Values.
everything values.
Fatherless activities.
Fatherful activities.
Yeah. Oh, yes. My bad. Fatherful.
So who's at the airport to get you? Was it your mission leaders, mission president, and wife? Was it the APs?
Yeah, it was my mission president was there. So that's when I first met, and the assistants were there.
And then how far away was like the drive to that mission? Did you go to the mission home right from the airport?
Yep, we went straight to the mission home. It was about 15 minutes from the airport. Nope, it was pretty easy.
And then what was your experience like when you got to the mission, and what happened from then?
Yeah, so they sit us down, and obviously, like, you get the packet. The office missionaries run you through about your apartment, laundry, kind of just the logistics of what it means to be a missionary. And then we got sat in the chapel, and the assistants were teaching us about teaching from the scriptures. And so they were like, hey, here's a principle of baptism. Somebody give us a scripture about it. And I think they got to faith or repentance, and they were like, Elder Benedict, what do you think? I was like, I have no idea. Like, literally drew complete blanks. I was like, I have no idea. I had to say, like, I don't know. And so they helped me out, and they were awesome. Shout out Elder Winfield, or Elder Taylor and Elder Winfield. They're awesome.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So you did all that, and then what was like meeting your trainer like, and
Yeah.
all that experience?
Yeah. So my trainer was Elder Grant Patterson, from Logan, Utah. And he's awesome. He is very musically inclined. He played in a band and lived a life very differently to me. Not in like he was a military baby, moved around his whole life, lived some pretty cool places. But our interests were just very different. And he was awesome. He's such a Christ-like missionary, and he's so focused on his purpose and being obedient. And he was really, really patient with me. But man, he really like rubbed me the wrong way. And it was completely because I was just really prideful. Like, I just had a lot of lessons to learn. And looking back on it, like, if I was companions with him again, it would have been awesome. So that first meeting, he's like going over with me with things, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, what do we do?
Talking about rules.
Yeah, literally. He's like, I don't think he saw the drive first day. I don't know if that's great. I was like, what? What am I going to listen to? Yeah. Did not.
You saw your drives first day?
Yeah, because he went through my phone. He's like, "Let's see what we
okay,
got
sure.
here." Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
I feel like that statement, like the whole like, oh, you know, like kind of rough. I had a rough go with my trainer. I feel like if we were comps at the end of my mission, we would have been. I feel like that's a very common thing.
I think so, because even though me and Stock weren't like, we were friends even in training. I think if we were companions again, it would be much different.
Yeah,
in a good way. So what was your like drive out to your area like, and like had you ever been to Vegas before?
No.
Recall?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so this was like a brand new
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Because we went to Vegas all the time growing up for that basketball and stuff. So we knew what Vegas was like.
Yeah.
But we don't get to see like obviously the life of it. It's
Yeah.
more of just like the party or the
Tourist.
spirit of Vegas.
Right.
What was? Yeah, it's not.
No,
So when you're
it's not.
driving out to your area and stuff, and he's kind of telling you about, you know, you're getting to know him, and he's kind of telling you about the area. What were some of your thoughts and impressions during that drive?
Yeah, so my first area was the mission home. So it was like the church building that the mission home was in. That was my sacrament building.
Was like the mission president's wife or mission, like were they usually there at the ward?
Yeah,
Or
they were. Sometimes President Redacte was there, but not often. So it was literally like a freaking 2-minute drive to our apartment. And I remember going through area book for the first time, and he's like going through our teaching pool, and we had somebody on date, and that was like mind blowing to me. I was like, what? Like, this lady's getting baptized? Like, she wants to get
Seriously?
This
baptized?
happens
No,
actually.
it
In
was
Vegas?
literally, I was like, what? What?
Sin City?
We teach people here?
Yeah, I just had such a weird expectation about missionary work that it was completely mind blowing to me that somebody was about to get baptized. And it was pretty like eye opening to me, like him talking about the people they're teaching, their needs, what they were learning, and their progression about them reading the scriptures or attending church. Like, it was like, wow, like people literally join the church. Like, I'm not about to go do service projects for 2 years. Like, I'm really here to teach the gospel. And that was Elder Patterson. Like, he really drove that into me, and that was really important.
Yeah, oh, that's money. So what did the rest of that first area look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was kind of I had 2 wards. One of them was in Henderson, and one of them was in Vegas. It was like right on the line. And the church is really strong there, and I did not know that too. In Vegas, the church is really strong, especially
Is that more
Henderson.
Henderson, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Henderson.
what I heard.
And so we did a lot of member work, and it was just kind of at the tail end of COVID. So like restrictions had just been dropped, so we were allowed to go contacting and stuff. And so we probably did that too much, probably did that more than we should have, but it was awesome. We talked to everybody we could. The work was great, and I mean, we really tried.
What is like a very? I mean, I'm sure it was maybe a shock that it was super member heavy, out there. But I have to imagine in Vegas, like street contacting might have been.
Well, I was gonna ask just on that topic. I was told that missionaries aren't even allowed on the strip. Were you allowed on the strip? Like to
No,
go contact on the strip?
absolutely
Okay.
not.
Yeah, I didn't think
No.
so.
Okay, so never mind.
So street contacting out there was out.
No. We would street contact everywhere else, like apartments, malls, whatever, knock doors, all the normal stuff, but never the strip.
Is that because it's not productive at all? There's nothing
Yeah,
there?
I mean,
Were you ever allowed to hit the strip?
Yeah, we, if we caught it. No. If there, so
There was
sometimes-
incentives if we hit 10 baptisms.
You get a day.
Yeah, they'd give us $100 and we'd go hit the tables. No, I taught a couple people who lived on like high rises on the strip, but you'd have to call and let them know that you were going. But no, you never just kind of meander around.
But that was kind of the main source of finding in that. So what was the area called
So it was at the time it was
for
called
people that are like
Right.
might be in that area?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So Stonegate, Silverado were the two wards. Now it's just the Silverado ward, as far as I know.
Cool names.
Yeah. So it was a pretty affluent area. The mission president lived on the ward, obviously. So there was a couple apartment complexes that we would hit pretty hard, but the majority of our finding was from member lessons. At least the people who got baptized. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you thought that in that first area, the ward was pretty supportive.
Oh,
a lot
they
of the work
loved
ran through
it.
them.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, they was like having the mission president of the ward. They were like, yeah, let's do it, elders. They were ready. And then the other, so that was Stonegate, and then Silverado had a convert baptism in several years when I got there, and they had a kind of a bad string of missionaries that served there. So member trust wasn't great, but it just makes such a big difference because every member. Like, we all feel the fire of missionary work. We all have testimonies that we want to share. And so seeing missionaries that they just show up, it was enough for them just to be ready to go. And so once they saw that we were finding people and bringing them to church, and they saw that there were non-members sitting with us, they were pretty dang willing to help us out.
It's so cool whenever you can build, like, I don't know, gain the trust of the members.
You see it happening,
Yeah. And then at that point, it's just like a domino effect, dude.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just rolls forward, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So just in this area, how long were you there for? Was it a few transfers or?
Yeah, I was there for 3 transfers. So the first transfer was with Elder Patterson, and then he got transferred out, and then my next companion was Elder Rowley, and we were there for 2. Shout out Thomas Rowley.
Shout out.
So
What a
name! No, he was a beast. So he had only been out for 2 or 3 transfers, so we were both brand new, and we just had no idea what we were doing, but we were doing it fast, and that was enough. And that was enough for God to bless us.
Wait, so take us through. Was there a
So
big change
good.
from like what you did on a day-to-day basis from your first companion to your second?
Oh,
Like, you were
yeah.
just like you got out way faster.
Well, I
We're
mean,
talking about just like
we were not as obedient.
okay.
And it wasn't because we didn't want to be, it's because we didn't quite know how to be, and that came later. But Elder Patterson had been a little more seasoned. He was still pretty new, but he'd been out 4 transfers when he trained me. And so he was like, the effective way is through the members, and he's completely right. But he leaves, and I'm like, well, we find nobody through the members. Like, I'll go talk to 10 people right now and find 5 of them. So Elder Roy and I, we were just pounding the concrete. That's all we did, all day, every day. Pretty much that first transfer we were together, and we found a ton of people. Did any of them get baptized? No.
That's so fun, though, dude.
But yeah, it
just
was
having
it
people
was
to teach
awesome.
and
Yeah.
finding it's like the best.
So it changed, and it had nothing to do with anything except Elder Roy and I were like just fired up to do something, and that's all we knew how to do.
No, it definitely is tough. I feel like, especially in my mission, Denver North mission, like, you can go talk to as many people. And I think it's more fun to do it that way. You know what I mean? Like I said, pound concrete and just go and force yourself into hundreds of conversations a day. Member work's a lot more slow.
Yeah,
It's more slow. It's definitely a more thorough process. But ultimately, I feel like in the States at least, and it obviously is dependent on the city that you are serving, but member work's really the way to get those conversions up.
Before we move on to your next area, because after those 2 transfers with Elder Rowley, you, I'm guessing, got transferred
I did,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. So before we move to that, I just need to ask, because we ask everybody this,
Mm-hmm.
how was referrals in Vegas? Was there some pretty crazy ones? Because like pretty much across all of our interviews, it's pretty unilateral that most people are like, yeah, referrals. Like you'll call, and they'll be like, "How did you get my stuff?" Like, and I bet in Vegas, was there like a lot of that? Because there's just ads everywhere. They're always like on their phone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Was there a lot of that or not really?
Yeah, no, we definitely had like media referrals. What you're talking about?
Yeah.
So there was later in my mission, I like went through a lot of those numbers, and it was pretty much as effective. Like it was obviously finding through your own efforts was the least effective. Media referrals were the second, and members were the. So there was nothing you could do about. Like you can't do anything to find more media. We didn't have social media. We didn't have anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have Facebook. And so anything that came through media was like somebody contacting the church, either through like a Facebook ad or something like that. And so they weren't bad. Like there was some interesting stories. Funny enough, my first area, there was one guy, I still remember him, Joe Thomas. He was a media referral, and we had one of the most spiritual lessons of my entire mission with that guy. And I was kind of obsessed with him for those first. He didn't get baptized, but it's just funny that like he was my media referral. That I was like, this guy,
this is the one. Yeah,
but no, I mean, we did our due diligence with him. It wasn't anything that happened very much, probably because we didn't have social media.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Because a lot of those like are done by Facebook elders or
Yeah.
sisters or whatever. So
Yeah.
Okay, so take us to your next area. What's it called?
Yep. Next area was Sand Hill. So I went from kind of Henderson-ish, basically Henderson, to middle of East Vegas.
All right, so you're in Sand Hill?
Sand Hill, yeah.
Sand Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the ward? Like, is it an area because it's, or is the area called that because of the ward, or? is it
Yeah,
just-
all of the areas were called just what the ward was
Okay,
called.
gotcha.
So Sand Hill, the middle of East Vegas. So part of my strip was in the area, just like crazy change from my first area. So there were two sets of missionaries in Sand Hill. So we split the area in half. Ours was the eastern side of the ward, and it was just pretty poverty stricken, just like most inner cities. But it was awesome. I loved that area. My companion was Matthew Warren, who was like gonna be the prophet one day. So this elder, so we came out together. So we both been out for 4 transfers. It was both of our 4th transfers when we became companions, and this elder had it figured out like big time. Yeah. And so he taught me that's when I learned how to be obedient. Was at Sand Hill.
How long had he been out at that point?
Same as me. That it was both our 4th transfers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So was he in your travel group? Like, did you?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
So, how long were you there in Sand Hill?
I was there for 4 transfers.
So in that time, was it a lot of street contacting, pounding the concrete, or did you work more through members? What was the ward like?
So the ward was very old, and they didn't. The missionary, they didn't appreciate. No, they didn't. That's not the right word. The members are awesome everywhere, especially in Vegas, but they had lost trust because some missionaries weren't, very respectful to the leadership of the ward because they thought that things should be done differently. And so they overstepped. And so the bishop, we weren't invited to ward council when I first got there.
Oh, that's pretty hostile, bro.
Yeah. So, and the bishop wouldn't really talk to us. But eventually, like, he warmed up and things really started to come together. And so it was a lot of pound the concrete. It was a lot of street contacting. It was a bike area. And it was the middle of summer. So be prepared for that. If you serve in Vegas, you're going to bike in the middle of the summer. It's fine. You'll live. But it is hot.
Lots of water.
Yeah, just drink lots of water, basically. Yeah.
Okay. And was that a lot of Vegas was bike, or what was like the percentage breakdown? Cars,
Yeah,
bikes?
it was probably maybe 60-40, 60 biking to 40 cars. Basically, like all of the out of valley areas had cars, and then cars in valley were reserved for like leadership or people who needed them to coordinate transfers and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
But we would say every area is a bike area. It doesn't matter if you have a car, because biking was just way more effective. So we always encourage people to bike.
That's what's so funny. I feel like Denver, there was a couple areas where they literally had to bike, and it had nothing to do with like the size of the area. In fact, their area was sometimes bigger than others with cars. but they couldn't afford to keep a car in the area because theft was so high there.
Yeah.
And so, but the sad thing is, like, these missionaries are getting their bikes taken from them,
Stolen,
like,
too.
stolen, like, at least once a
Sandhill,
week.
I had 3 bikes stolen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
3.
my gosh. Yeah.
Were you buying all of them, or were they at one point?
No,
were they
so
just
my
donating?
first one I bought, and then after that I was like, I'm not gonna buy a bike again. So it's
Yeah.
just old missionary bikes that I just find.
Yeah,
One
I'm grateful.
One time I had it locked, my front tire locked, so they stole my back tire.
Yeah.
Man,
That's awesome.
The things they'll do.
I
bro.
know.
You can't have anything in Vegas.
Literally
Huh?
can't have nothing in Vegas.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah, we had a couple cars stolen in that area, but it was just like dumb kids who just like leave it on the side of the road after they had their fun. But
So Benny, I think this is a good question for you because I know, just reading your emails and conversations with you that you were a pretty good missionary. And how do you said that this ward, the trust was very down. How would you suggest somebody that's like going to serve in Vegas, if they run into a problem similar to that, how would you suggest they get the trust like back up?
yeah, you have to involve them. In Vegas, you're gonna be able to baptize like quite a few people. Like it's just the reality of the area. People are ready to receive it. They know members or they've just moved there. So you're gonna be able to find people, and they're gonna want to know. And members love to be a part of that process. Everybody loves to be a part of that process. That's why missions are so transformative, is because you get to be a part of that. And so when you let members in and you let them take the reins from you in that, then they are going to feel the fire just like you do. Every missionary feels that. And that's why we stay out there for 2 years, is because we love it. You learn to love it. And members love it just as much as you do. And so when they become a part of somebody's conversion, that strengthens everybody involved. And they're going to want to help you.
For sure. I love that answer. So you were there for 4 transfers, the first 2 with Future Prophet, Matthew.
Just one.
Oh, just one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you had 3 transfers with another companion, or
So then I had 1 transfer with Elder K, and he was also phenomenal. He had been out 1 transfer less than me, so it was my 5th. It was his 4th, and we just built upon the work that Elder Warren and I did, and it was kind of like. It was the first time that I had been out with somebody who wasn't out as much as me, even though it was so similar. And so we figured out a lot together. We learned a lot together. He's one of my best friends in my life. I worked with him last summer. Just one of those companions that you really just love. Yeah. And so after him, then I trained for 2 transfers with, his name is Elder Carvalho. He was from Curitiba, Brazil. And he spoke very little English, and so that was the only challenge with him, was we would have to learn English together.
Yeah. So how many languages are in like the Vegas area, Vegas mission?
Yeah, it was mostly just Spanish. I think there was some like Mandarin missionaries in the other mission, but as far as the Las Vegas mission, it was just Spanish and English formally called, and then if you were in the unit that had the African group, then it was Swahili.
Yeah. Okay. And that was like an infield call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
I'm guessing we haven't gotten to that area yet.
No,
we have
not yet.
It sounds like.
So take us to your 3rd area then.
So that's when I got transferred to Francisco Park from Sandhill. And part of the assignment at the Francisco Park ward, which is just a normal English ward, but they had an African group that met that was auxiliary to the Francisco Park ward. And so there was also 2 companionships in that ward. One was just English, and they had the Simone ward, and the other was the Swahili group and the English ward, the Francisco Park ward.
Yeah, I feel like, did Baltimore ever have like an African group?
Haitian.
Yeah.
Haitian Creole.
There was some like Haitian Creole. There was some French, which is like kind of
Yeah.
very similar.
Because I remember in Denver, like, it blew up, like, the whole African like, it blew up out of nowhere. And I feel like it was kind of the same time around yours, because there was a chance that I was going to speak Shui, and I was like, let's go. I wanted to really bad, and then I, like, listened. It's a tonal language, and right away I was like, I don't want to do this at all. But no, the Swahili one's funny, dude. So, like, what was the tracting like for that?
Yeah.
Just like apartment, because I went with, like, one time I went with one of the Swahili elders,
Uh-huh.
and it was so fun because, like, you're just looking for, like, gold drapes and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to spot.
Yeah.
But the State Department had specific apartments that they would bring refugees.
Oh, okay.
So when like we would the members would tell us like, hey, there was a new shipment is what they'd say, and so we'd go and we'd be able to tell who the new families were in the apartment, Bossa Nova, and so we would. It was funny. There, literally, this is how it would go. So we'd go and so Swahili is it's an Eastern African language. Like some of the Congo speaks it, but like Kenya, Tanzania, some of those countries, and so when they come to the U.S., they spend like decades at these refugee camps before they come to the U.S. And so it's like they're waiting years and years for this. So they finally make it to the States, and they get these two white kids like dressed in a suit and tie, knocking on their door, and in their culture you can kind of just walk in, especially if you're like a religious authority, and we just like Jumbo, 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 and they were like, what do you want? So that was always very effective, and the members were it's a very tight community. Everybody knows everybody. So
If I tried that in the suburbs I was in, I'd just get lit up. I
Yeah,
feel like all of us.
yeah.
So you were in this area for how long did you say again?
So I was in Fran Park for 8 transfers.
8?
Yeah, but I went from one. So I went from the Swahili group to the other companionship. Okay. But it was there was no boundary in that ward, so there was 2 companionships, but we shared the same area. It was weird.
Y'all have Tiwi?
What?
Y'all have Tiwi or no Tiwi?
We had TV. So Sandhill and Francisco Park bordered, and so it was pretty much the same type of demographic. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So a lot of similarities for 8 transfers then.
Yeah.
Did you like that, or was it kind of getting old there?
No, I loved it.
you did.
It was where I
Of course.
should be. Yeah, yeah. There was definitely times where, like, with every, no matter what, every missionary reaches that point where you just kind of have to figure things out and decide, what you're out there for. Yeah. And so it was just easy for me because I wasn't going nowhere. Like I wasn't gonna be able to get transferred to some new area. I knew I was gonna be there for a while. But it was awesome. I loved that war. It was night and day difference though. Sandhill, we had to do a lot of work with Member Trust. Francisco Park, one of the highest baptizing units in the country, and it was because completely the members they knew what they were doing. Like they 100%. They had many subsequent missionaries and many prior missionaries who were locked in and focused, and so they were a part of it.
That's awesome. So you've been out you're a seasoned missionary at this point.
Yeah.
You've had companions, experiences, all this stuff. What was something that you were able to bring prior to your mission to your mission? For example, me and Cakes, like basketball, we were able to incorporate a lot of basketball into our finding and teaching in Baltimore. And it doesn't have to be sports related, but even something like just your knowledge of something or your personality. Like, what was something that you brought from home with you to your mission that helped you be a better missionary?
Yeah, there definitely was some things. I don't know if there was any one thing that like helped me throughout my mission, but rather just like random connections that with people that you meet that you're teaching. Like, oh my gosh, like I met an aerospace engineer my first area, and I was like, well, I'm studying to do that. Like, I love aerospace engineering, and so we really connected on that. And that helped him progress. It's just some connection with you that can just be a catalyst for, the gospel. And it's just funny how you can see those coincidences. It's like, why that's just so peculiar. Obviously it's not peculiar. Obviously it's not coincidence. It's all supposed to end up that way. And I'm sure that every missionary has stories like that.
Yeah. But you got to be ready when those opportunities come. You got to be ready to
100%.
connect and build off of it.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
So how would you, with all the companions you've had, I'm sure you've had a little bit of struggles with one or the other in one point or another in time. What kind of advice would you give to a missionary who might be like struggling with their companion or something along those lines?
Yeah. I will say I was super blessed with my companions. I'm close to this day with all of them. I think so. My first transfer in Francisco Park, I was with his name is Elder Lundskog, and if there was any hard companion I had, it would be him. And I'm not talking bad about him; he knows this. He is a focused missionary, and we had some friction about our vision for
Daily
our
planning went
responsibilities.
crazy, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom into the 5 minutes. You're like,
So that was something that I had to learn. It was something that I had to be prayerful about. And it was the first time in my life that I'd ever had to deal with another person like that. Before you're a missionary, if conflict like that arises with somebody, you just don't hang out with them anymore.
Literally, I always talk about that. Always.
But as a missionary, it's something you have to learn to overcome, and it is such a blessing when you do. Because now Elder Lundskog, like, I look at him as somebody who is just one of those companions that they have that really just shifts, your mindset about how things should be done. And he helped me a lot with certain things. More than just missionary work, testimony wise, his example of obedience, his example of being focused on his purpose. And that's something that I never ever would have been exposed to had I just been caught up on some of those frictions and differences. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, moving forward, after the 8 transfers, the couple different areas you were in, what happened next? Is this like the end of your mission by now?
Yeah, so after Fran Park, I got transferred to Christie Lane for my last 2 transfers. And again, that's just up the block from Fran Park. So all except 3 transfers of my mission was kind of in the same square mile block of Vegas.
Because you were in the valley the whole time, right?
Yeah. And it was the 3 wards literally were like this.
So were you just running into people from other wards that...
No, there was not much of that. Sometimes you'd see them, but they were all 3 different stakes too, so there wasn't a lot of like.
That is dense.
Just so densely populated.
Yeah. So Christie Lane, I was transferred there. I whitewashed in, and I was training Crew Holdaway. Shout out Crew Holdaway.
Can I just cut in real quick? Whitewashing, for those of you that might not know, is pretty much
Yeah.
you go into an area that was previously occupied by sisters or nobody, or it was elders.
It was
went home.
elders, but then we
Essentially,
just came in.
you both go into the area not knowing anything about the
Yeah.
area, and you have to make something out of whatever is in there. So that's what whitewashing means.
Another synonym with that would be like a sweep, like we swept in.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, swept in.
Yeah.
We said whitewasher, but
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So I went into Christie Lane with pretty high expectations. So a previous companion. So I served with Elder K again in Fran Park, and he had just come from Christie Lane, and he talked very, very highly about it. And so I ended up there, and I was training, and we were pumped, and I was super pumped, and I kind of made the first couple weeks of my trainee hell. God bless him, because he really went through a lot with me. Not like we never fought. Like, he is one of my best friends, but man, if I was my trainer, I would have had a hard time. And he did.
Was that just you just pushing him?
Oh
or-
yeah,
'cause you
yeah.
just
We
came-
yeah. So but like from that we like became really, really close. And
another question real quick, because Dre had asked you, being in there for 8 transfers, you ever got bored or tired of it, and you said not really. But once you got into this new area, was it like oh my gosh, like this is fresh, for the taking kind of thing? Like,
yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So while I was in Fran Park, there was like a lot of other responsibilities that took me away from missionary work. And I knew that this transfer, I was not going to have those responsibilities. And so that's what it was. I was like, let's go. Like, I don't have to freaking deal with any of this other stuff. Like, I can really just be a missionary. And so, and I knew I was going to be training. I knew I was going to be in Christie Lane. And so it was all kind of like this like special storm that I was like, I'm going to finish strong and I don't care what's going to happen. And to be a new missionary, to come into that is tough. And so he went through a lot. But it was kind of the same work. Christie Lane, historically, there was not a lot of convert baptisms in that ward. But there was missionary work. Like, there were, like, members who had already been a part of it. So I was able to come into already this ward that was primed and ready to go. And we really saw lots of miracles in that ward. And it was just because, and I think the entire theme, no matter which area, no matter where you serve in Vegas, the most important thing is you just have to be moving, because you will have people put in your path. The members will find people for you to teach, but they won't if you're not doing anything. You can't, there's nothing that can come from nothing. God cannot multiply nothing. If you just give him something to multiply, he will do it. And the more you give him, the more he can multiply. And that is completely the case, no matter where you serve. I don't know about in the U.S. It's probably an everlasting principle, but definitely in Vegas, that's how it works.
I love that.
That's such good advice.
Such good advice right there. So, and this was your last area
Mhm.
that you served in.
Yeah.
So you're coming up on your last, few transfers or whatever.
Yeah.
Looking back on your mission, what is something that you wish you would have, or if you had a conversation with yourself on your first day of your mission,
Yeah.
and then on your last day of your mission, what do you feel like you would have said to that person that's like just starting their mission?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have told him, that to not take any day for granted. The most monotonous or the most exciting are the same, because like that really is just the greatest thing that you can do. And the change that you or I was about to experience is so much more and so much more impactful than anything that you are expecting or ever could expect. And just to be ready for it, just to be willing for it.
So, in talking through all these questions, talking about your mission, has there been anything you think that we've missed that you wanted to touch on, just about your mission in general, about the Vegas area, anything like that?
Vegas
What's
is.
the weather like?
I will say this: it rains way more there than you're gonna think, and it's especially monsoon season. Like you don't
Monsoons
think
are
it's
crazy.
gonna. Like
Yeah.
holy cow! Like the floods are no joke. There was many times where you basically swimming out there in your bike because the water was so high, because the drainage is horrible in Vegas. Yeah. So just because it's hot, you gotta bring rain stuff.
Okay, hey.
That's good advice.
Other than that, though, like I was super blessed, and I really believe that if you're called to any mission, you're called to your mission president. And that is what your assignment is about. The area is just where they were called. You are called to them, and to just listen to them. And for my mission president, I had President Rodarte and President Vance. And of any two individuals in my life besides my parents, they impacted me most of all. And the things that they instilled in our mission culture and the things that they instilled in me individually are some of the most important things leading me forward, that I reflect on them a lot.
That's good. Good stuff, man. All right, well, time for this little fun segment we like to do. Give us your craziest story from your mission.
Okay. So I'll start. This is the cool, like, crazy story, not the spiritual crazy story. But so this was in Sandhill. It was while I was training Elder Carvalho. But I was on an exchange, so he missed this excitement. He had his fair share. But I was with this elder. His name's Elder Merrill, and he was kind of a big hokey elder, slow moving, but he was awesome. And so we were street contacting in an area, and we were teaching. His name was Scrappy. And I don't know his real name, but he was a drug dealer. He was in a wheelchair because he got shot in the back. It's the kind of character that you run into in this area. And so while we're teaching him, Elder Merrill and I are sitting on an electric box, and he's on his wheelchair in front of us. And this Asian guy, and just dripped to his knees, like in like jewelry, runs up to us, and he's like, "Hey, yo, they're still in our car. They're still in our car. Somebody call the cops." And so we look over, and there's this like gangster mobile Escalade that just runs into this brick wall, and these two kids jump out. So I grab my phone to call the cops. And so they're asking me where they're going, and these two kids jump out of the car, and they're just kind of walking pretty, like they're not in any hurry.
Like nothing happened?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, they're headed to the
How
wash
fast is
trail.
this brick wall? Like, are we talking?
They had so literally they backed up, stole the car, backed up, and then drove forward into the brick wall. Yeah. Yeah, and we'd actually seen these
As
two
one
kids.
does.
Yeah, we've seen these two kids earlier, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up? You want to come to church?" And he lifted his shirt, and he had the blicky, and so we're like, "All right, man, have a great one."
Seems like a no.
Yeah, yeah. And so those are the two kids. So I'm on the phone, and they're asking me where they're going, and they had just walked across the building, so I couldn't see them anymore. And so Elder Merrill and I and Scrappy, and he's wheeling, and we're walking, and we all three of us turn the corner the same. It's literally like a cartoon. All three of us turn and look at the guys, and I'm like, "Oh, they're headed towards the wash." And I don't know if they heard me or what, but they turn around and go boom, 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 and all three of us jump.
Scrappy jumped.
Well,
He didn't
we
need the
pushed
wheelchair?
him over. So all three of us end up on the ground, and they're shooting, and so I'm still on the phone like, "Dash!" The cop's like, "How many shots?" Like, "It doesn't matter."
How many shots?
Yeah. So we gotta like get Scrappy up off the floor, and we run away and everybody's like coming out. And so we have to wait, and the cops pull up pretty quick after that. And I had to fill out a witness report, which is fine. All the excitement kind of dies down after that. It was crazy, like our hearts pumping. And the whole time, Elder Merrill, he's not saying a word.
They're like, so what are they shooting?
Yeah, yeah. Did you see?
How
kind of
many
gun?
rounds?
Yeah.
I'm getting licked.
I know, literally, I'm like afraid for my life.
Yeah. Talking about how many shots I.
No, okay.
I know.
Why?
Let me play back real quick.
Crazy question. In the moment, was this funny?
No.
Or, okay. Because now this is straight out of a movie. I just didn't know. Was there any part of you that thought it was
story to tell?
Was there any part of you that was like, this is gonna be a great story?
I'll tell you what. When we all three are on the ground and Scrappy was super calm.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
That was just another day.
No, literally, he's like.
Y'all jumped out of the way. He's like, why are you pushing
I know.
me?
He's literally like, "Bro, this is crazy." And Elder Merrill and I are like,
crying.
"Yeah,
Shooting.
yeah, yeah." And so at that moment, I was like, "What is going on right now?" This
Where's
is
Elder Merrill
insane.
from? Where's he from?
He is from Apache Junction, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, he's awesome. But he after this, he's
funny.
dead silent. I'm like, I'm like going to street contact other guys, and we found this awesome guy teaching this spiritual lesson. Whole time, Elder Merrill is dead quiet, and finally, he's like, "Elder Benedict, can we go home?" So we go home, call up my mission president. He's like, this is what scared me. He's like, "Did anybody see you fill out the report? Like, what if somebody was affiliated? That's how you do that. Like, they could see you as a target." So then after that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, what did I get myself?"
It doesn't
into?
end here.
But obviously, yeah. But no, it was the end of it.
You're looking over your shoulder
Yeah.
as your mission.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It is on you
That's
though.
wild.
That kinda
No,
is
yeah,
on you.
yeah. I was like,
We're headed to the
"Yeah,
wash.
sure, officer, I'll fill that out."
I love snitching.
Yeah. Oh yes,
I'll tell
I
you
think
everything.
his name was
They already called me a rat in high school.
Scrappy, who was that?
Scrappy. Oh, by the way, he deals drugs.
Yeah. So my boy Scrappy in the wheelchair here.
Yeah, you probably saw the
No,
shot in his
no.
back. Basically.
But yeah.
Were the cops like when did they show up? Were
I'm
they
so
pretty
sure
chill,
they're-
or
I'm
were
sure
they
they're
like?
so used
Well,
to
the
it.
guys were pretty long gone, and so like the people who were actually in
The response
pursuit
time was they were
not
like
the
pulling
guys.
up with
So
like
like,
lunch.
do you think he was like kill shot, like shoulders squared on with y'all, or do y'all think he was running and like shooting back?
No, a horrible shot. Like,
I mean, clearly,
yeah, he was
dude in
here.
the wheelchair.
You're
No,
alive.
yeah.
Dude in the wheelchair.
Well,
got
we
away.
went back and like there's bolt holes in the garbage can like there, and they were not. He wasn't even close to hitting us. Like we heard it, but it was like legitimately like, dude had no idea what he was doing. Thank goodness, literally. Praise God, but yeah,
His
that's
feet-
what it
his
was.
feet are moving?
Yeah, that's what it was.
First
He's
time
like,
shooting a gun.
probably heard somebody talking, was like, "Whoa."
That was definitely his first time.
Yeah, yeah.
Runs
Yeah.
into a brick wall. Gets
Can't
caught.
drive.
What's
Can't
going
shoot.
on?
World's worst gangster, bro.
We're going
Keep
to
your
the
day
wash.
job.
Turn and shoot.
Just walking
They
away.
know where we're going.
What's the wash?
Oh, that's like for the monsoons. They just have these huge washes that was supposed to
Can you explain what it
irrigate
looks
or
like?
to get the water away from the streets and stuff. So while it's not raining, they're just bone dry. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Wow, that was a ride.
That's
great.
a story.
yeah, that was a good one.
Scrappy and
Love
Merrill.
that story.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a band.
Yeah, yeah.
Merrill,
That was a
Scrappy,
good
Merrill,
one.
and
Merrill
Benny.
and Scrappy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, that was. I think that's a pretty good place to wrap up, unless there is anything else anybody else wants to say. But
I thought that was awesome.
yeah, it was great. I just want to thank Benny for making some time. Man, You would think he was Hollywood, the way we were trying to get him on this podcast for the last
Bro.
month. Good grief.
I
Couldn't
did,
get a
bro.
hold of
Famous
this
on
dude.
us.
You can't.
Famous
No,
on
I
us.
don't have my Instagram notifications on. I just need to give you my phone
You
number.
really do. We need your number for sure.
Yeah, dude, that's
For
actually facts. What are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing? What are we
As of
doing?
tomorrow, it's just me living here though. So
Yeah. Well, we
Even
still come
more
down.
reason,
We'll still come
yeah.
down,
yeah,
man.
this will happen.
But anyway, we just want to thank you for making some time for us. Shout out. What was your wife's name again? Emmy.
Emmy.
Emmy. Shout out Emmy for letting him off the leash for a little bit. You know, walking around.
Actually, let me ask you one last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please,
Yes.
question, because we've had 2 African others now, like that were in real Africa. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knew what Jollof was. You know what Jollof?
I
was?
don't know what that is.
I'm done asking.
Why?
that.
Why would you ask him that?
I'm just done because it was really speaking. Like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
because
Anyway, if anybody knows what Jollof is, please
just
comment.
validate,
Just
just
DM
confirm
him.
it,
Just
please.
say something. Say something.
I'm done asking that though.
But anyway, just want to thank you, Benny, and appreciate all your thoughts and insights. You were awesome. And this concludes another episode of the Go&Do podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Benny.